Hey everyone, Veiss here. I know it's been a while between videos, but there's a reason for that, which I'll be talking about a little later. That said, there's a lot I want to talk to you guys about, so I won't beat around the bush. Let's get right into it. I want to start with some DK specific information. There's been a lot on a lot of people's minds, especially coming off this big spec uproar coming into 7.2. Now, first things first, I want to talk a little about Darby. Dark Arbiter spec has been a dominant build of late, crushing single target damage really hard in a raid that is very much about single target output. Because of that, there have been a lot of inquiries about how it should be played, how it should be statted and talented, etc, etc. One thing that is important to note is that while I mentioned breakpoints in an earlier video, they do not currently properly apply to Dark Arbiter. She has a random delay prior to her first cast that defies any attempts to apply rhyme or reason to, which devalues the power of breakpoints. While they still technically exist, I would like to take this time to definitively advise any of you, my dear internet friends, from placing too much priority or value on these breakpoints as of the making of this video. However, there is hope. Very shortly prior to this, I was informed that Blizzard QA is currently looking for evidence of the precast delay behavior of Dark Arbiter. If you can get video documentation with accompanying logs showing the attack deficit, it may potentially help us get this bug pinned down and the breakpoints properly functioning along with DA. We are looking for direct submissions to the Unholy Discord section of Acurus to be directed to the moderators there, but I will also help forward through any submissions sent my way. On a related note, a lot of people are now encouraging others to sim their character. I think this is both a really good thing and at the same time a really bad thing. I want to take this opportunity to tell all you guys espousing sims to cool your jets a little bit. Just a little. Sims can be a useful way to broadly generate information that you can use to better your gameplay, but they are not and should not be God's only truth to anyone. Any action priority lists, in other words the skeleton of what informs the sims how you should be playing your character, are made by people who are not perfect and do not always think of everything. Further, you are not robots, my friends, and cannot perfectly execute your abilities within milliseconds of one another. This is not to say that sims are completely invalid and useless. They have a function, and that is to help you understand how things may impact your output. But if you are not using the information they give you correctly, you will not be any better off than you were before running the sim. In fact, you might do markedly worse. A really good example of this actually brings me back to the subject of Dark Arbiter's haste breakpoints. As you sim Dark Arbiter and increase your haste value, the simulated haste value per point will rapidly rise as you gain haste above a breakpoint and towards another. As a matter of fact, at certain levels of haste, sims will tell you that haste is worth more than even strength. However, this is simply not true. The way the breakpoints previously discussed were determined was by simming varying values of haste as they rose and fell, and analyzing the damage per point values of haste as they crested towards these points. However, these are what I'm going to call false rises right now. Because of the random precast delay, you don't always get the extra attacks on Arbiter, which are what the breakpoints represent. So therefore, haste will always improve your damage by allowing you to execute abilities more quickly and reducing your global cooldown, allowing you to involve more abilities and cast more death coils within Dark Arbiter's span. But the damage per point values that you're seeing when falling between breakpoints is simply not reasonable. It may be due to problems in the APL, sims not accounting for Dark Arbiter's precast delay, or other factors, but the issue stands that these rises in value for haste are not truly reflected in your damage. This is one major case where blindly following simulations will not do anything to truly improve your output. It is of paramount importance that we understand exactly how the mechanics of our class and abilities work in order to truly garner the most helpful information from sims, or even more importantly, to identify when we should actually be ignoring what sims say. Mastery and strength are still superior to haste in these cases as long as you remain at your current levels of haste. This means you should not be lowering your haste or increasing it in these scenarios. Some important things that people need to know going into Tomb. The tier 22 piece bonus granting us 15% increased damage does not, I repeat, does not apply to any damage dealt by pets or guardians. This includes but is not limited to Dark Arbiter, Army of the Dead, Apocalypse Ghouls, Gargoyle, Drag to Helheim damage, the Risen Skulker summoned by all will serve, and your basic abomination. Despite the major uproar around this fact, Dark Arbiter currently outscales most other builds, specifically at single target damage. As a spec that relies heavily on an effect that is not in any way affected by tier 20 set bonuses, as death stacks from Army of the Damned also do not affect Arbiter's damage, Dark Arbiter may find itself outscaled by some of the other setups that are currently projected behind it, as they benefit much more from these various damage increasing effects. Specs to keep an eye on include Defile, Standard Soul Reaper, and potentially Castigator. I don't have any concrete evidence to back this up right now other than the knowledge of what effects scale with which, so it's purely speculation at this point, but I believe the idea is worth keeping an eye on. As has been mentioned in some recent videos, including Belio's recent Death Knight class review and Preach's basic Unholy Death Knight guide, Soul Reaper is viable as a raid spec if you lack the equipment to do some of the more specialized builds such as Dark Arbiter. When it comes to legendaries for this setup, the ones I recommend are the Instructor's Fourth Lesson, Soul of the Death Lord for general situations. You can substitute virtually anything for Soul, however. Top marks go to Cold Heart, Death March, Kil'jaeden's Burning Wish, and Vanamore the Unbeautiful in that order. Be aware, however, that Darby is numerically superior in all single target situations. If you are striving for the best possible output, you will need to collect the necessary gear in order to run that spec at the highest levels. However, you will not suddenly be complete trash because you chose to play Soul Reaper. I personally prefer Soul Reaper over Dark Arbiter. I know what the numbers are, and I made an informed decision to play Soul Reaper and still managed to parse well. I understand I won't be getting orange parses playing this particular setup, and again, if that is something that matters to you, you will have to make an informed decision as to what you play to achieve that goal. All that said, which actually ran really long, I apologize guys, but now I want to announce the winners of the giveaway I mentioned in my last video. Osprey Bravo 18 and Joe Farabella, you two lucky commenters have won 6 months of Wowhead Premium. If you're watching, congratulations, and please get in touch with me via email or Discord at vice versa #4484 within the next couple of weeks to collect your prize. I will be trying to reach you guys as well. Future giveaways like this will probably be done through Twitter, Twitch, or a different medium, but I may do others in this format again. As for why it's been so long between vids, well, there's been a lot going on. I recently joined a new raid group, shout out to my new guildmates of Style from Sargeras, and I started a new job in real life. I'm going to aim for a more regular video release schedule, including some fun new content from different games outside of WoW, so I hope you guys will support me branching out a bit. I appreciate every one of you guys and gals who have subscribed, and I hope you'll continue to watch my videos and hit me up on Discord, Twitch, Twitter, and wherever else you may find me. I have seriously considered getting some first-hand looks into the PS4 beta of Destiny 2, launching on the 18th of July. If you guys are really interested in seeing that, give me a shout out in the comments, along with anything else you guys would really love to see more of around here. I love theory crafting, and I would be more than interested in getting into it for games other than WoW. If you're interested, I will work as hard as I have to get you guys that content, however I can. Donations via PayPal or subscriptions via Patreon will definitely help in that regard. The more time and money I can spend on rolling content for you guys, the faster I can roll it out. Links to both are in the description below, and I'll see about getting some of that info into the end cards for this video to make things a bit easier for you guys. Last but certainly not least, I want to give a special thank you to my first 3 Patreon subscribers, Michael, Semjaza, and Sand. I appreciate you guys' support more than you know, and wherever this channel goes from here, I recognize you guys, and I will always strive to do better. But for now, suffer well, fellow Death Knights, and I'll let the outro music roll.